Hi, Mark here from newhometricks.com, and just a quick update today because I've, over the weekend, expanded our light setup. We already had the Philips Hue bulbs in the ceiling lamp, the floor standing lamp in one of the corners, and the table lamp in the other corner, but we had a tower lamp here that we'd yet to set up, but we've remedied that now. We've now installed 3 Philips Hue candle bulbs, the white and colour ambience E14 bulbs. Went out and got those over the weekend and installed them. So that's now the living room kind of done. Every light fitting in here now has a Philips Hue bulb in. That doesn't mean that we won't add to the system in the living room over time. We might install some LED light strips, some of the Philips Hue lamps for example, but we'll probably move on to other rooms in the house like the bedroom or the kitchen, and maybe come back to the living room later on when it makes sense to do so. Adding the bulbs was a fairly simple affair. You just replace the bulbs with the Philips Hue ones, turn the lamp back on, and then you just go into the app and detect the lights that you've added. You just go into settings, light setup, and that's where you do the detection. From there, once you've detected the lights, you can just add them to your existing room. So you just add them to the living room in this case. And once we did that, you find that straight away they then participate in the scenes that you've got, whether they be the out-of-the-box scenes that Philips Hue ships with, or the scenes that you've created yourself. And I didn't expect the latter. The scenes that I'd created myself included those 3 initial bulbs we had in the ceiling and then the 2 in the corner. So obviously when we add the new bulbs into this tower lamp, I didn't expect that they would immediately participate in those custom scenes that I'd created. But the Hue app just kind of automatically does that for you. So it's very good if you are expanding the system, is it makes it nice and easy and simple, is that you don't have to go through all of the scenes that you've got and reprogram them to work with the new bulbs. They will work straight away, so you don't need to do that. Of course, if you're not happy with the settings that Philips Hue has applied to your new bulbs and figured out for itself, you can of course just go into the scene and edit it, and that's fairly easy to do. You just activate the scene, tap on the edit button, and then you can make changes and save your new settings. It's very easy to do and very easy to set up. Another observation now that we do have Philips Hue in all of the light fittings in this room is that we can kind of start making judgments about the convenience and the control that we have over the lighting based on having a new smart lighting system in here. All of the lights in here were previously operated completely independently. If you wanted to turn on this tower lamp, was a switch for that. Ceiling lamp, separate switch. Lamp in the corner, lamp in the table, they were all controlled completely separately. Now, when we walk into the room, we can just press the button on the Philips Hue tap switch and that will just turn all the lights on if that's what we want. Or we can press one of the other buttons for one of the other scenes that we've set up. So we don't have to go around the room turning lights on and off anymore, it's just one button to control everything. So there's a certain level of additional convenience that we get through having smart lighting, even as a standalone system that's not linked to any other smart home technology, because we haven't got anything yet, it's just lighting. But even with just that by itself, we've got a certain amount of extra convenience. We also have a certain amount of extra control. Previously, this tower lamp, for example, was either on or it was off. Now we can control each bulb individually if we want to. Now, you might think to yourself, well, that's not a huge thing. I mean, why would you even want that? But there are certain things that you might want to do. I mean, for example, if you're watching a movie and you want to have the lights on at a very, very low background level, well, I might turn on maybe one of the bulbs, but we don't necessarily need all 3 of them on, for example. So there are certain advantages that you get through having that level of granularity to be able to control bulbs at an individual level. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to live with for a little while and see if my opinion stays the same, that it's more convenient, that it's more control, or whether it just turns out to be something that we don't make use of. That's really the long-term test. Do we actually make use of that power and that flexibility on a regular basis, or is it just something that kind of fades into the background and becomes an irrelevance over time? This is the sort of thing that I'll report back on in the fullness of time as we've had time to live with these things for much longer. In the meantime, I have written up a companion blog post that goes into a little bit more detail about the experience of expanding the system, and I've written a bit more commentary about that convenience and that control that we have with the smart lighting setup. But for now, thanks for watching. Do have a look at the companion blog post. I've linked that in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe.